Hello, this is Esther Nagel of Rhonda Yoga. I provide powerful stress management tools for individuals and organizations by developing resilience and well-being through yoga. Today, I wanted to talk to you about stress at work and why it is so important that we talk about it more. Stress is one of the biggest health problems that we face in the modern world. It is listed as one of the causes in the 6 biggest causes of premature death in the West. The World Health Organization declared it the 21st century's health crisis, health epidemic of the 21st century. It is a huge problem and it is killing people in droves. It is affecting lives across the world and it is actually causing death. It is causing early death and there's no getting away from it. Stress left unchecked does have a life-shortening capacity. Stress at work is a particular problem that we face, not just in the UK. It is very prevalent in the UK, and I'm sure that the statistics that we see in the UK are reflected elsewhere in the Western world as well. I know it's a big problem in America. I'm sure it's the same everywhere. The UK economy suffers to the tune of billions every year through productivity hours lost through stress, through work-related stress. Now that should, you think, cause businesses to take the issue of stress very seriously and look at ways that we can reduce stress in the workplace. But a report I saw last year suggested that actually since the Brexit vote, stress at work is on the increase. Because businesses are making cuts, people are being expected to do good work of their colleagues as well, and so stress levels are actually rising at work. And this is a really serious problem because stress does come with so many costs to the individuals and to the businesses and to everyone around the individual as well. It's not just that one person who suffers from one person's stress. The domino effect of stress is quite astonishing. Now I know because I've lived through this. I've lived through years and years of stress, and if you've read my book, if you've read any of my blog posts, you know that I didn't deal with stress particularly well, but I dealt with stress in a way that lots of other people do. I used to drink, I used to smoke, I would rely on coffee and sugar to get me through my days. I would rely on wine and cigarettes to get me through my nights. And I was constantly numbing the effects of the stress that I felt. And while the stress I felt wasn't originally work-related, it did filter out into my work, and then that created stress in the workplace, created problems in my work, and the knock-on effect was that the personal stress was causing work stress, which was causing personal stress, and it was just this never-ending cycle. Now, 1 in 4 people in the UK are affected by mental health problems in some way. Thousands, I've lost, got the wrong stats in front of me here, but the statistics are huge. There are so many people who are affected by stress at work. But 85% of people think that there is still a stigma attached to stress in the workplace, that if they are feeling stressed and that's why they're taking time off work, they have to come up with a reason. In a survey conducted by Mind last year, 26% of people said they would give their employer another reason why they were taking time off work. Now, when you think about this is one of the reasons why we need to talk about stress, is because the stigma where mental health conditions are concerned costs lives. If you can't talk about it, you can't process it, you can't get help, you can't get support, and the problem doesn't go away if you're not talking about it. The problem only gets worse. So the stigma, although there is a lot of powerful work being done with organizations like Time to Change and Mind and so many other organizations, so many movements are going on to try and reduce the stigma of stress in life in general, and particularly in the workplace, there is still this huge stigma attached to it. And that stigma is making the problem worse. You're not solving the problem. You never solve a problem by ignoring it. The only way you solve a problem is by facing it talking about it and looking for solutions. The stigma of mental health kills. The stigma of mental illness kills. We all have mental health. Mental health isn't the problem. Mental illness, mental stress is the problem. So if we're not able to talk about the problems that we're facing, they're going to get worse. Stress unchecked affects health. It affects physical health and it affects mental health in all kinds of ways. Someone who is suffering from repeat headaches may have a stress problem. Someone who is suffering from repeated digestive problems, that could be stress related. So even if the person concerned isn't consciously lying to you, lying about their health issues, when they're stressed and they're saying it's this, it's that, they might be thinking that that's the problem. I've got an upset stomach, I've got a migraine, but those things are stress related. So unchecked stress actually takes its toll on the body as well as the mind. So, you know, if you're a HR professional and you're looking at your absence rate, you may have a bigger stress problem than you realize, because the reasons that people are giving may be an attempt at covering up their stress, but it also may be that the stress is just causing them to have physical health problems. And that needs to be addressed, because if this level of stress that a person is under is actually impacting on their physical health, then they are in trouble. They are in, you know, they've already passed a point where they really need some help, because their body is taking the toll of that stress. What is left unchecked in the mind will find its way out into the body. So if you're not dealing with the stress in your head, it's going to manifest in your body some way, and then maybe you'll be able to deal with it that way. Maybe you'll notice it. Another reason why, if you're as a business, you want to be thinking about looking at your stress problems in your organization, is that it impacts on productivity. It impacts on people's ability to do their job well. That affects the individual and it affects the organization. I remember when I was in my last full-time job, when I was so stressed. I was heading for meltdown. I didn't realize it, but I was actually probably in breakdown already. But I would be at work all day and not able to function. I was just so completely incapable of functioning. I wasn't intending to go in and do no work all day, but I couldn't function when I was there. And then I would get home at night and all I could think about was how little work I'd done all day. So that would add to the stress I was already feeling, because I would then spend half the night worrying about the fact that I was probably going to get fired at some point. So the knock-on effect of this stress was that the personal problems I was having at home were causing stress at work. And a lot of the personal problems I was having were connected to work. And so there was just this knock-on effect where I was turning up every day, but I may as well have not been for all the effective work I was doing. That took a huge toll on my self-esteem, because I'd always quite enjoyed doing the work I did, and I was really struggling with the fact that I couldn't seem to get my head around this job, which I knew I was able to do, and so it was making the stress worse. So we need to tackle the stigma of mental health to allow employees to be able to talk about their problems and to be able to allow solutions to be found. The health cost of stress is just too high for it to be ignored. It is actually costs lives if stress goes unchecked. And productivity, self-esteem, and generally, you know, the workings of the business relies on your staff being at their best. So if you are if you are concerned about stress in the workplace, if you are concerned about your levels of stress, or if you would like to bring some better ways to manage stress into your organization, then I can help. Come and drop me a message, come and see me at runtheyoga.co.uk, and I can help you to either bring peace into your life or peace into your business. So do get in touch, and please share in the comments if you have any thoughts or any experiences you'd like to share. I'd love to hear from you. I will be back tomorrow with another video about stress. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye.